and welcome to a series of videos in which we're going to look at the basic structure of the brain. Now, in this video I'm going to concentrate on the nomenclature that we use to describe different regions of the brain. Now, why on earth do we need to know this, I hear you cry? Well, it's because lots of different structures in the brain are named after where they are. And by knowing the nomenclature, you can figure out where something is just from the name. And knowing how to describe different parts of the brain means that we can communicate with precision, which is all important in neuroscience and life in general. Now, many of the names originally come from Latin, so while they may seem unfamiliar at first, once you get used to using them, they become second nature. It just needs practice. So, on to the brain itself. So here we have a brain. It fills your cranial cavity, the bit of your head above the ears and eyes, and it makes us who we are. It can be described as having a number of surfaces. In this orientation, as it is when it is in the skull, the top and bottom surfaces are referred to as dorsal and ventral. These terms come from the Latin for back and belly, respectively, which, if you think of a four-legged animal, is the orientation these surfaces would be in. Now imagine a horizontal line between these two surfaces. In general, things above that line will be termed superior, where anything below that line is termed inferior, Latin for above and below. Now you should note that these terms relate only to whether they are found above or below that line. It bears no relation to that structure's importance. Just because something is called superior doesn't make it any better. We should also note that superior and inferior are often used to refer to how structures relate to each other. So, for instance, the superior colliculi are found above the inferior colliculi. Going back to our brain, we also have the front and back surfaces. So these can be referred to as the anterior and posterior. However, they also have other terms that you may come across in your study of the brain. The anterior regions can also be termed rostral, which comes from the Latin for beak, while the posterior regions can be termed caudal, which means tail. Humans, like most other land animals, display a body plan with bilateral symmetry. One side of the body is an approximate mirror image of the other side. So if we look at the brain from above, we can see that, like we have arms and legs on each side of the body, or eyes on either side of the nose, the brain has two halves, left and right. An imaginary line drawn down the middle of the brain is known as the midline. This corresponds to the general body midline. It also gives us two other terms we can use to describe the position of structures. Anything close to the midline is termed medial, Latin for middle, while anything towards the outer edge is termed lateral, Latin for side. And like the terms superior and inferior, they can be used to refer to how structures relate to each other. So the medial geniculate body is closer to the midline than the lateral geniculate body, although they actually sit right next to each other. So through using these names, we can accurately describe the position of any structure in the brain, while from the name you can determine where it is in the brain. And as you study this most amazing organ, these names will become as easy as A, B, C.